With former US Secretary of State Henry Kissinger in the news after his death just days ago, it is worth taking the time to reflect on one of his many dark legacies, the coup against Salvador Allende on September 11, 1973, and the end that was brought to Cybersyn, one of the great visionary experiments in alternative economic thinking. Allende was Latin America's first democratically elected Marxist president, and had worked during his time in office to nationalize Chile's industries, taking them out of the hands of foreign corporations and placing production and distribution systems under popular control. This included the copper mines, which accounted for over 3/4 of the country's export earnings. He also got to the heart of social inequality, undertaking vast land reform programs. Project Cybersyn ran from 1971 to 1973 and aimed to construct a cybernetic system to manage the national economy. Most well known for the images which circulate of its iconic ops room, Cybersyn stands for Cybernetics and Synergy in English, and was called Cinco in Spanish, standing for Sistema de Información y Control. Cybernetics is the alluring science of automatic control systems in machines and living things, and Cybersyn was the brainchild of the British Cyberneticist Stafford Beer, who Allende invited to Chile, and was envisioned as an alternative to the rigidly top-down economic control system of the Soviet Union. It would help to manage the transition from capitalism to socialism in what Allende called the Chilean road to socialism. The vision here was to enable countrywide planning while maintaining worker participation. Stafford Beer sought to enable communication along 4 levels of the Chilean economy: firms, branches, sectors, and the economy as a whole, reflected in the central mainframe at Beer's headquarters. As Morozov writes, the brain of the system, the ops room, was a hexagonal space, 33 feet in diameter, accommodating 7 white fiberglass swivel chairs with orange cushions, and on the walls futuristic screens. Tables and paper were banned. Beer was building the future, and it had to look like the future. A system of telex machines in state-run enterprises sent information to the government in Santiago, which was fed into modelling software called Cyberstride. Cyberstride monitored production indicators and flagged any problems. As Eden Medina writes, Cyberstride tried to find a balance between autonomy and cohesion. For example, when the system detected a production anomaly, government would then give the interventor a limited window of time to solve the problem on his own. The enterprises therefore maintained their autonomy to a reasonable degree. If the interventor could not solve the problem within this limited period, Corfo, the State Development Corporation, would intervene. Such intervention would limit the autonomy of the factory, but Beer reasoned it was nonetheless essential for preserving the viability of the entire economic system. In 1972, the utility of the system was tested during a US-backed national strike by 40,000 truck owners. Cybersyn has been widely credited with enabling the government to better adapt to the strike through real-time data. However, opposition from the United States grew, and with the CIA funneling money to opposition groups, Washington intervened to preserve a commercial system that organized markets, capital flows, resources, and political forces into an arrangement that sustained US supremacy. The coup of September 11, 1973 spiraled into the murder of thousands and the oppression of a whole country. After the coup, the futuristic and visionary operations room was destroyed, its display panels stabbed with knives, and Cybersyn managers went into hiding. Free market ideology made its entrance into Chilean politics. Of course, this senseless destruction leaves many questions unanswered. Most notably, what could have become of Project Cybersyn and Allende's vision of democratic socialism? The real potential of Cybersyn will never be known, and a sense of myth remains. In fact, the famous ops room, based on a World War II war room, never became fully operational. Some of the screen displays, far from being automatic, had to be drawn and redrawn by hand by graphic artists. The telex systems actually only updated once per day, rather than being truly real-time. And reports show that it was often quicker for firms to deal with things in person than to wait for the system to indicate a problem. There was also a ludicrous, farcical side to Beer's visions. Project Cyberfolk was a parallel effort to track the real-time happiness of the nation in response to op-room decisions. Beer envisioned a device put in citizens' living rooms where they could turn a dial to indicate the country's mood, ranging from unhappiness to bliss. This never happened, of course. The dark side to the vision of technological control which Cybersyn ushered in can also be seen, with Stafford receiving invitations from repressive governments in South Africa and Brazil to build similar systems. Today, given the rapid development of information technology since the 1970s, and the advent of the age of big data, AI, and the Internet of Things, many are gaining renewed optimism, however, about the potential for a cybernetic organization of the economy along socialist lines.
De nuevo, abrirán la grande alameda por donde pase el hombre libre para construir una sociedad mejor. ¡Viva Chile! ¡Viva el pueblo! ¡Vivan los trabajadores!
For more on topics like this, have a look around at other videos on this channel.